Face to the screen again, fellow slaves. Please pardon the noise of the fans in the background. It's still probably about 90 degrees in here. It's hot. We're in Florida. So, if you remember the last video about the 380, that when I first bought it, the feed ramp here was not very well polished. So I polished that up and it feeds reliably now. So that's a good thing. I just acquired a new rifle. It's a SKS. I can't get it all in the frame here the way I'm holding the camera, but so we're doing the same thing here. This thing would not feed. The way you can see where the chamber is shaped there at the bottom. Imagine this is coming up from the bottom, but like the tip of the bullet would collide with that and not slide up in there. So, I mean, the Chinese slapped this one together, and they're like, hey, let's send it to an American and see if he can figure it out. And you know, the thing is, once I do actually fix this, I'll feel like this rifle actually belongs to me more, I guess. Let's see. I mean, it looks like it's barely ever been shot, but I think that's because there was a feed issue. Like, it just would not feed. And I hope this actually does work, and it's not really focusing the way I'd like it to. But you can see somebody did try to take the screw out. I didn't know that when I bought it. But it was an auction online. I don't want to say how much I paid for it. It's actually not a bad deal. I think if I get it running, like I said, not only will I get it running, but it'll feel like it's actually mine. Like I said, though, I am being kind of aggressive this time. I have this little, I'm actually using the tip of this thing on this Dremel to do a little bit of grinding to just make it in a shape it's actually going to feed. There's just no way it's going to feed the way it is. You know, last thing I want to do is spend money on a gun and then just start grinding into it. But you saw, like, even this brand new Smith & Wesson, I had to polish that. And that was just polishing. So I'm going to have to, of course, after I do the heavy grinding, I mean, it's actually somewhat heavy. Oh, and also, one thing I wanted to mention, you see that ledge right there? That is sharp. Like, so it's catching the tip of the bullet. So the copper digs into that. You can kind of see, I don't know if you can see it on this video, but like just the copper drags on that and it almost pulls the bullet down, like the tip of the cartridge, you know, pulls the bullet part down, like it has that drag. So instead of going up, it snags on that and kind of stays down. So I'm going to also just barely just kind of just round that off a little bit. I don't want to take too much off of anything at one time. So it's going to be a process, and I'm not going to make a video about the whole thing. But for now, I suppose I'll just pause this. And sorry about the crappy camera work, but you can just Google a picture of an SKS and, you know, it's this thing. So I'm going to get back at her. I'm going to pause it for now. So I have the Dremel on the lowest speed. And I wish there was a way I could hold the camera and actually do this at the same time so you could see it, but you get the idea. I'm just kind of like just barely going over that rim and just trying to make it a little bit more round. You know, I'm not really trying to get into the chamber too much at all, but, you know, doggone it, I think I just have to just as much as it actually takes to make it work, and then polish it up. You know, I got to polish it up to find out if it's going to work or not anyway. So, sorry about the noise of the Dremel, but you see, that's the lowest speed it goes. It's not really going that fast, so yeah, we'll see. Okay, so that was a few minutes of very, very carefully doing that. And I still have to polish it. It's kind of focusing, but, you know, like I said, I can always do it more, but I can't put it back if I take it off, so. It already does feel smoother to the touch, but as in my other video about the 380, it was definitely a bit finer than what you can feel with the tip of your finger. I think it's going to be a nice rifle, though. I'm going to make it work. And I'll learn while I'm doing it, so good for me. Yeah, this thing is kind of tempted to just clean up stuff like that, too. But then I'd probably want to get some bluing stuff. I'd want to be able to re-blue it. if I start really taking off stuff that's not going to be polished by firing it like the chamber. So, all right, I'm pausing it again. I really should say though, I'm not afraid to do this to this rifle because, like I said, it is the Chinese one, and pretty much all the reviews on that are that it's not the best one at all. It's like the least good one. If I'm looking at the serial numbers right, it's in 1992. I believe it's from 1992. So right before, I think they probably saw the writing on the wall that like America was going to ban, like have like the assault weapons ban, and that the imports were going to be banned. So like China just made a mad dash to just make as many as they could, get them out the door, and just let us figure them out. I guess. I mean, I'm going to make that thing run. I'm going to figure it out. Uh, Obviously, the first step is making it feed. It's not going to feed if it just has like a practically like a bulkhead there in the way of, it should have a ramp, more of a ramp looking kind of like. How much could it hurt? You know, the rifle's got a problem. It's not working the way it is. So, I'm not afraid. I'm not even that much of an expert. I just figure that I don't want to bub at it, but I want to just make it run. I just want to make it run. I'm sure that inside of all that metal there, that might be a little bit extra metal here and there, there's a gun in there somewhere. And I just have to carve it out, like Michelangelo said about his David. So I'm going to pause this again. That was just kind of like a station ID break.